gorgeous outside. Hopefully it won't be too hot, but I'm really happy to be here with all of you, and you all look wonderful. And so it's an immense privilege to be gathered here on Treaty 1 territory. My name is Riley Todd Moore. I'll be your MC for today. And my pronouns are they, them, and I am a proud two-spirit, non-binary person from Northern Cree Nation, and I'm very honored to be here with all of you today. And so before we start, we just want to take a moment of silence to honor those, our relatives, our kin, who are no longer here with us in person, but who will always be with us in our hearts and in spirit. So we'll just take that moment to honor them. Thank you, everyone. And so we have an exciting day ahead of us, filled with empowering speeches, a march, and ending with diverse performances at the fort. So we will begin with speeches from our community members. You'll hear them coming up soon. They have wonderful speeches prepared. And then we'll begin our march to the fort. And then we'll have performances that will showcase local talent. And so this is meant to be a safe space. We recognize that transphobia is on the rise, anti-trans legislation is increasing, and human rights have been politically debated across the world for decades. We are gathering here today with the intention of uplifting our community and celebrating the joy, resistance, and strength of two-spirit, trans, and gender-diverse identity and voices. And so for those who may need a quieter space, this morning, which is fully understandable, the Rainbow Resource Center has offered a quiet space for reflection, and you're just taking the time that you need. Please feel free to use the space just located at 545 Broadway, just down the street over here. And please join me in welcoming Cook and Gail Credence, who will lead the opening ceremony.
And I know a lot of people think we don't do this, but I'm here today, so yeah. So there's a lot of resilience in pride, and as such, a lot of beauty in resilience. My first moment of resilience was navigating a society that was built to doubt and judge me as a black person. So when I began to understand my queerness, it was terrifying. I tried to hide it for as long as I could, especially growing up in a religious household that saw my queerness as sinful. However, like every egg, I eventually had to crack. I had to learn what it meant to be queer from an intersectional perspective. My queerness saved me. With every pain it brought, it also brought beauty. It taught me to be kind, to love deeply, to continuously learn, and to give people the benefit of the doubt. With every shade of queerness I discovered, I also uncovered every shade of blackness, especially through learning about the rich history of queer Africans. Like many of my ancestors whose stories were never told, there are also countless untold stories of queer Africans whose existence threatened British patriarchal power. In this year's theme of resilience, I want to honor the ancestors who lived without shame or guilt. That's why I'm here. I remember their strength on the days where it's hard for me to walk fully in my queerness. Because of their courage, I get to read about them in books and hear about their stories. As my favorite author once said, all boys aren't here, just like me. I know the feeling of having to choose between binaries, but this year, I choose not to choose. Instead, I will navigate through and between them. Because when I let go of binaries, I'm able to love, learn, and teach deeply and diversely. So this year, under the theme of resilience, I hope you to learn to love, learn, and teach deeply and diversely. Thank you, Winnipeg. Happy gay season.
It's beautiful. I had it in my coffee and I needed that. Thank you. It's also Pride, so I decided to be, bright and colorful today. So, raised by Caleb Johnson said, I have the honor working with Sunshine House. I want to get talk to you. I don't want to take much of your time because I know we got work to get to. But as well, I will speak a bit about visibility and why I feel visibility is so important for myself, why it's important for everyone, if and when you are ready to be visible, to be out there. Because it's fine if you're not. But if you are, there's so many things you can do. I know when my previous past life kind of blew up in my face because living unauthentically will always catch up to me. Let's just be real about that. I started this journey that I find the dead body. It's been over 5 or 6 years now. After I came out, I started going into queer spaces and getting to meet community in that. I met my wonderful partner. And through my partner, I was exposed to the drag scene, particularly the Indigenous drag scene, and the queer and trans people in the community here in Winnipeg, and the positive examples they were setting, working in the community, uplifting community, doing things for each other, protecting each other, all these positive, wonderful examples of queerness, transness, that I never had as a child growing up, which kept me closeted, afraid, and trying to think away, how do I survive in this world when I didn't feel that was an option? Couldn't have a family, I didn't think. Just where it was, a very Christian, white bread town, it was not, no one was out. There was nothing there. So, but I've learned in this journey, you can have all those things. I am a parent. I have this wonderful family community, and so I went through my journey, I was able to realize when I started coming out and showing more trans, more gender expression, more of that real me. I noticed in my previous life, the kind of capitalist business world, it's a little cold and it's not always the most accepting. Well, sometimes they try. I knew I was not in the right space. And one day, some convincing, not being happy, knowing that I needed to take a step and allow me to fully authenticate and become who I was meant to be with the people, the community that I need to be. I walked out of my job. Walked out. Well, I sent my notice and I was escorted out 30 minutes later, so. Oh, the feeling's mutual, okay. Yeah. I guess I'll go then. Can I say bye? No? Oh. Okay. I didn't think it was that bad, but oh well. So, anyway, but through that, I took that leap, and the wonderful people at Sunshine House, queer, BIPOC, Indigenous-led organization, again, works in community. They trusted me to start, some odd jobs and kind of work my way up. But being able to work aside all these wonderful people like yourselves, to be part of this community is just so, it's overwhelming. The generosity of this community is just so, it's staggering some days. Like some days I legit get emotional about it. It's just so beautiful. And part of being able to do this work here, and even though maybe it's not perfect, being in this province, just knowing what's gone backwards in Alberta and Saskatchewan in regards to gender affirming care and trans rights, and I don't even want to touch on down south. But that uprising, that Manitoba is being looked at right now as kind of a beacon of what can be done, trying to take a leadership role in there's a place for everyone, we all belong here, and just see we do all belong here. And Bill C-43 that's going to enshrine gender expression into the Human Rights Code of Manitoba, the legislation that they're passing right now. How is Manitoba so behind on this legislation side? Do we have some other people in power for a while? But anyway, I don't want to get too far into that, but it's just knowing now, working with an organization that's in the community, and it's also working alongside these people that can influence and make these decisions. It's so important to be visible. We have to occupy space. Sometimes we have to go into spaces that might be a bit uncomfortable. Maybe we go into spaces where they want to be allies, they want to help, but maybe not fully on board. But by going into these spaces, we can set that example. We can advocate. We can make a difference. We can bring more people on. We can be that difference. We can be that change. We can't just turn back and cancel as far as I'm concerned. We need to be out there, and if you're comfortable to be out there and you're ready to be out there, please join us, because this visibility, going to rallies like this, coming to the legislature, fight for our rights, be visible, push our politicians, hold them to account. At the end of the day, let's be the positive example of transness, of queerness, that children like me that didn't have, and that this generation now will see and be inspired to continue. No one should feel alone and isolated. Everyone needs to build a community full of love, and everyone so deserves it.
Free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! From the river to the sea! From the river to the sea! Palestine will be free! Palestine will be free! From the river to the sea! From the river to the sea! Palestine will be free! Palestine will be free! Palestine will be free!